I say welcome to the stage, Mark Hoyer, Editor-in-Chief PsychoWord. Welcome here to Expressen.
Thank you very much. Good to be here.
I'm going to start by asking you something I saw in the Grid app, because in Grid's 2 days beforehand, we can read up on you on the Grid app, and you have something very exciting on there. It says, driving toward 100-foot flames. What is that, and why have you written that on your app?
I'm in the, where I live is in a rural area in California, so I'm on the volunteer fire department. So when I'm not working on the magazine and media, I'm at home. We have a loud siren and a pager, and it goes off. And when we have a fire, I run to the fire station, put on my gear, and then we drive off in a unit and fight fire, or we do medical aids. It's a full functioning fire department for rescues and everything. So I've been on we had a very large brush fire, 30,000 acre brush fire about 8 years ago, and that was actually the first fire I ever went on was a giant brush fire with 100-foot flames, and I drove toward them. And your thought is, I should leave, but you agreed not to leave by being on the fire department, so you keep driving. And that was a real moment where you've made a commitment and you're going against your sort of normal preservational instinct. So that's where that came from, fire department work.
It's amazing. And about the instinct wanting to survive, we're talking about the future of media here today. What kind of challenges have you met in your work?
It's definitely been a survival game. For us, we're an old-time media brand, so we have a 50-year history of being a very traditional. We're like I'd say we're the voice of the motorcycle establishment, and so to transform that very formal talking to kind of media experience into social media and having a conversation with the reader, and then changing your notion of what good content really is, what good work is, because you have this traditional idea of perfectly crafted long-form stories that are highly informative, and really there's still a lot of engagement there for us. For what we have is a pretty traditional audience, but it's very clear that we also have great success and outreach, if you will, by doing the shorter stories and crafting the shorter bits. And you have to, as a trained journalist and an artist, you sort of have this notion of what a high level professionalism is all about, but really you can't ignore what people are actually reading and what they're actually doing. So you have to, for us, it's been a transformation of being very traditional and now embracing new media and trying to satisfy, almost for us, a dual audience, the young person who wants something different and wants to know the contributor better and have it be more conversational and sort of more authentic for their manner of experiencing life in media, versus the older person who's used to the more traditional way. So for us, that's been a struggle. And then, you have the financial element as well, because we're very successful in 2005 as a print-only publication with a notional web presence, and we've had to figure out how to transition from print, because print's been declining like it is everywhere in media, and we've been increasing quite a bit on the web, but we sort of haven't crossed that revenue threshold where digital media supports the full business. And so we're just balancing shrinking resources with the level of quality that's expected from us, and then trying to amalgamate the size of audience that's meaningful to advertisers. We're very good in the endemic space within motorcycling. We're the voice of authority. We have a strong presence, but the internet's about scale, right? Like in the end, it's people like Google who they can make money on a very low cost, whereas we're still trying to sell a quality audience. So when we go in, it might be 10 times what Google would charge, but we're saying we have a highly qualified motorcycle buying audience, and for us, particularly in the United States, we have a strong US user base. So that's just a few of the challenges, really. I mean, those are probably the main challenges, is trying to maintain the quality, grow the new audience while maintaining the old audience, and doing it with fewer people and less budget than we've ever had.
But how does that work when you're sitting at your desk, you're going to create content, and you have the new audience and you have the older audience? How do you think when you create the content, okay, this is going to go to that audience, or this is going to be something that both can be attracted to? How do you think?
What we have is we make a monthly print publication. We do 11 issues, so it's almost monthly. That's very much traditional media. So that would be the classic Cycle World story. It'd be shorter. They're not really news pieces, but they're shorter tech pieces, and then it would be elaborate trips or touring stories, and new bike tests are very important to our readers. So that would be sort of the anchor of the traditional style of content that we would make, and we put it in the print magazine, and then we put it online. And then I have, a couple of young writers who, in the classic sense, aren't trained journalists with degrees, but they have both proven to be highly adaptable and easy to multitask. So they're very good with camera, they're very good doing video. They have a broad skill set, and they write in a manner that is psychologically appealing to their peers. And it is a fundamental way of thinking. Like, I can adopt the thinking, and I can write a story that would be the shorter hit and nice pacing and everything that I think would suit that audience. But for them, it's just a natural process. So it's engaging the generation that's reading to also do the writing, to get those people on my staff. So that's that's sort of how we approach it. And we make now as everyone is focusing on video. So we're even, you look at the simplest ways to get video to play on the site, and we have basically reading the story. We have a short video that shows pictures that just pans across the pictures, and then it's literally the words of the story. And again, you can't ignore what people are actually doing. You think, well, who would want this? Well, somebody wants it because it is successful. We're getting people to watch our videos and enjoy what we do. So we try to package it any way that they're willing to accept it.
But you mentioned earlier, instead of talking to the audience, you want a conversation. Have you reached that yet somehow?
Yeah, we try hard through social media. We have a comment section. We try to manage the comment section, which is pretty germane to the discussions about online abuse, because it is a management problem where you really have to moderate the conversations and try to engage the good people in the comments to shut down the people who really are abusive. We have people on the website who are abusive. So what we try to do is I have a guy who specifically manages the comments on the website, and then we ask questions, and we ask questions about, like, hey, we're going to test this bike, we're going to this part of Spain, and we're going to ride this motorcycle. What do you want to know about this motorcycle? So we preload the story with questions from readers, and then engage in the conversation and manage the conversation. So someone will say, well, I'd like to know XYZ about this motorcycle, and we are there to continue that conversation to kind of lengthen the narrative. So you have the story, and then you have the comments that roll on, and then we'll get ideas from the comments that we would then turn into a separate story or separate post.
And for the future, if you could wish anything to the media gods, what would you wish for?
Stability. It would be nice. It's never going to happen, but it would be nice to have a world where you just did good work and people appreciated it and were willing to pay for it. And people like our motorcycle content. They like the professionalism. They like that we measure everything. We test all these numbers. But if we put a paywall up, it's okay. People find it okay. We don't have a paywall, but if we did have a paywall, I think what we'd find is that people would go out into the web, and the democratization of publishing is wonderful. I use it, I enjoy it. At the same time, it's like it undermines our business sense because we spend so much money to get all this stuff, and it would be very easy. I could quit my job, go home, and for a few $100s, I could start my own website and just start writing about motorcycles without ever touching one. And I could write things that people probably would want to read, and you could build. If you wanted to know about the new motorcycle, you don't need our story. I mean, you do in a sense because we do all the measurements, but if you can live without that, you can go to so many other places to find and amalgamate the information that is meaningful to you. So that's I think this stability, like if you could just there's never going to be one model, but that would be the wish to the media gods, is if we could just have one model and know the rules and do those rules and have a successful brand, that would be, I would sleep so much better. So,
And less fires.
yeah, fewer fires, yeah, for sure. That would sleep better with that too. Less sirens in the night.
Thank you so much, Mark, for coming to Express on
My pleasure.
stage. Thank you.